Oh man, how are you supposed to afford a home in 2023? It's crazy what's happening in the game of real estate. And yet today, I'm gonna help you figure it out. Check it out. You understand with today's interest rates, they go up and up and up, and it makes houses less and less and less affordable. Here's an example. Here's a $320,000 loan on a house. Should you have a 4% interest rate, which today I'm going to show you how, you'd be paying $230,000 in interest over the life of the loan. But if you don't learn the secret in today's video and you're stuck with 6%, you're going to pay $370,000 in interest. That's a difference of $140,000. Do you think a few minutes of your life is worth saving $140,000? Let's go. Today, the secrets for affordable housing in 2023. And I'm even bringing a guest in live that just bought a house using one of these tactics. And so my intention today is to actually show you how real estate in today's market is still very possible. Most people have just given up on it, as in 75% exactly of people are like, I'm out. This is not a good time. Real estate's in the crapper. And I'm sitting over here like, man, are you kidding me? You talking like the people of 2008. That was the best real estate market we've seen in the last 15 years. And you think it's the worst of times? It's the best of times, as long as you possess the secret. The problem is these darn interest rates, if they just weren't so high. And do you really want to put your life on hold and wait for the Fed to determine if they're going to lower the rates or not? I mean, you understand why the rates are up, right? We just passed another bill printing $1.7 trillion. And you know what that does when you just invent like paper money that's not even paper, it's just like numbers, zeros, digits on a balance sheet? Well, it creates inflation. And right now we have record high inflation that we've seen in over 40 years. And as long as we keep printing more money, we're gonna have a problem with inflation. And the only thing the government knows how to do to counteract that is to increase interest rates. So it might be this way for a little bit, which means instead of putting your life on hold, let's figure out how to navigate this. Check this out. Kicked off the video and said you could save $140,000. You want to know how? It has to do with this thing in lending called buying down an interest rate. When you buy down an interest rate, you're paying a lump sum or additional funds up front in order to reduce the interest rate on your mortgage loan. This can help lower your mortgage payments and reduce the total amount of interest that you're going to pay over the life of the loan. And today we're going to give you a very real world example, and then we are going to judge it. And we're going to decide whether this is a really cool thing or a really stupid thing. So here's what we're doing. We're talking about buying down your interest rate. And if you want to lower your interest rate percentage, you're going to have to pay some points to do that. So I need to define what a point is. In this option, you can pay a lump sum of money, also referred to as discount points, to lower your interest rate permanently. The number of points you'll need to buy will depend on how much you want to lower your interest rate. A point is 1% of the loan amount. So let's just say you're getting a $300,000 mortgage. Each point will cost you $3,000, because what is 1% of the purchase price, $300,000? It's $3,000. You just subtract a couple of zeros. The more points you buy, the lower your interest rate will be. Let's do a real world example. I've got Jonathan here in house. Brother, how we doing?
Doing great.
So Jonathan bought a house in May of 2022, right?
Yeah.
And you used a strategy.
Yeah.
You actually paid some extra money and it actually lowered your interest rate. Mm-hmm. Let's figure out the math of what Jonathan did. So first of all, the house you got under contract was for how much?
Yeah, so the purchase price was $325,000.
$325,000. And then did you bring a down payment to the table?
Yeah, we put $50K down, so the loan amount was $275,000.
So we have a $50,000 down payment. And what that did is that basically brought the actual mortgage that you were getting to $275,000.
Correct. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, question, why did you put $50,000 down?
We actually just couldn't qualify for more, so we had to put more of a down payment in order to bring our monthly payment down.
Do you see what I'm saying? This is one of the very real dilemma things that's happening, is that we got these fine young people, and guess what? The house prices increased 41% nationwide during the pandemic. And what that means is people are like, wow, how do I solve for this? And one of the things which is not part of this video, is, well, Kris, we just had to come up with more money for a down payment. So that was a part of your strategy, and that was going to put your interest rate originally at what?
It was a 4.75 at the time.
So at the time, this was a 4.75% interest rate, but then you did a buy down.
Yeah.
How many points did you buy?
So we bought 2 points.
Okay, so let me guess. Testing you here. If the mortgage is for $275,000, then what does a point cost? You're right, $2,750. And so 2 points would be double that. My guess is you put down around $5,800?
Yeah.
Man, you're so smart. So it was 4.75, but then Jonathan paid $5,800, and what did that lower your rate to?
We got it all the way down to a 4.125.
Okay, and let me ask you, 4.125, that ended up lowering your overall mortgage by how much?
Just over 100. It was like $104, so like $100 a month.
So real quick, so there's a $104 a month reduction in your mortgage. And so if you paid $5,800 for that, are you guys planning on being in the home for a while?
Yeah, a couple years until we can afford to put a down payment on the next one.
Okay, got it. So you're planning on buying more homes.
Yeah.
I like Jonathan. He's smart like you. You're smart, right? That's what you're doing too. So $5,800, let's talk about your break-even point. So if you're basically saving $100 a month and you paid $5,800, you basically said, as long as we own this home for 58 months, because 58 times 100 is $5,800 what you paid, that means that after 58 months, which is approximately how many years?
Like 4.8.
4.8. So basically 5-ish years from now, every single month for the life that they own this property, they're going to save $100. So they have to pay it up front to get this low interest rate, but now it's locked in, right? This rate is what it gets to be. It's what it gets to stay, and it means that 4.8 years from now, Jonathan, if he continues holding onto the home, gets to save $100 every single month. Awesome, brother, dude. I'm happy for you. I'm excited for the purchase. And now what we got to do is we got to help Jonathan focus on house number dos. Now, I want to make sure that didn't go over your head on like, wait a second, if I'm going to pay some money, a lump sum up front to get my interest rate lower, at which point do I hit my break even and does this start making sense? Here's the math. Your points cost a certain amount of money. In this example, it's $3,500. If you divide it by the monthly savings, in this case, it's $43 a month. $3,500 divided by your savings will tell you the number of months. Or in Jonathan's case, you remember his math, he paid $5,800 to save $100 a month. And so 5,800 divided by 100 is basically 58 months or 4.8 years. And so it kind of begs this question. It's like, okay, is it really worth it, like, to have a lower interest rate? Like, should I keep my money in the bank? Should I invest it? Should I save it? Should I do something better? Or is it really worth it to like buy down into a lower interest rate? Is it worth it? That is now the $1 million question. Though lowering your interest rates can take hundreds of dollars off your mortgage payment, theoretically, buying points can cost thousands of dollars up front. Because of this, points will always have a break-even amount where they begin to cost you more than you save. This point is typically between years 3 through 10. So it's important to consider how long you're going to hold the property and determine whether or not it's actually going to be worth it or not. So the reason why I asked Jonathan how long he's going to be in that house is because if he's like, well, we're going to live there for 2 years and then we're going to sell it. Well, then he shouldn't have bought down his points. He paid $5,800 and he probably only got a couple $1,000s worth of value. But I also know that Jonathan is an avid investor. Even though it's his first house, hear what he said? He's like, well, we're gonna live there for a couple years until we have a down payment for our next one. So what's he gonna do? First of all, he's got some equity in the house. He actually paid it down. That $50,000 isn't lost. That house goes up a little bit in value, and based on my forecast, that looks positive for the next few years. He can refinance or get a home equity line of credit, pull some money out, and now the first house will become his buyer, his down payer of his second property. And he and his wife have a choice. It's like, well, if we stay in this first house, we got the advantage of a really low down payment if we had wanted to. But if we want to own a property that we're not going to occupy, then we have to conform to investor rules, which, conventional banking requires a 20% down payment. Yikes, that could be $50,000 or $80,000. But he and his wife, if they move into that next house and turn the first one into an investment, guess what? They can do that same 3% or 3.5% or 5% down payment and put a lot less money down. With 2 homes, they're going to be better off financially. They're going to have depreciation write-offs on 2 homes instead of 1. They've got 2 homes appreciating in value instead of 1. They now have a positive cash flow on the first house. And what that's going to do is basically count against their mortgage and reduce living on their new house they're going to get. So in Jonathan's situation, as long as he holds the home longer than 4.8 years, then it's going to make sense. But if he holds it more like 7, 8, 9 years, now he's going to start accruing a tangible benefit. And if he decides to hold it longer than 10 years, he's going to look back and say, that was a really, really, really smart choice. In essence, the longer you hold on to that home after it's break even, the better of a choice it ended up being. Check it out. Got some questions from my boy Jonathan here. First of all, are you glad you bought the house?
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, we just felt like it was, all of this fervor was in the market and the rates were going up. And so the fact that we got it when we did and the fact that we were able to buy down the points and get the rate that we did and lock that in was amazing. And I'm just scared for people, especially as rates continue to go up, it's only going to get worse. So.
Yeah. Well, and you've been exposed to something special. Jonathan is no ordinary off the street human being. We've actually worked together for a couple of years, and I got many members of my team that are attracted to working together with me because it's an easier way to get in the game of real estate, pick up their knowledge base, start other businesses. You've got a game plan, I'm assuming, of buying more real estate, yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
How much real estate would you like to own?
5 or 10 properties sounds good.
Now take that number, times it by 10, and now he's got a good number. If 5 or 10 makes sense, then 50 to 100 will make 5 to 10 times more sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's some math upgrading his game plan. Of course, we're always dealing with our own belief. What do we feel that we can do? For Jonathan, he's young. He's like, I don't know, 5 to 10 sounds like a big deal, but I promise you, bro, you get to 10, you think you're going to do more?
Probably.
If it's working and if it makes sense, you're probably going to do more. There's a comfort zone around this game. And here's what helps, getting a game plan. And the question is, what is your game plan? What makes sense for your situation? And if you'd like to know, I got good news for you. I'm offering you a free game plan today. As in, if you click the link below, I've got 40 trained members of my staff, and guess what they do for a living? I spend time with them. I teach them what I would do in any financial situation that you could possibly be in, and they basically step into your shoes and show you what I would do. And what the game plan does, costs nothing, it's free, but it gives you perspective, and it gives you an opportunity to say, if a multimillionaire were in my shoes, with my job, with my credit, with my situation, what would they see that I'm not? Just like I'm urging Jonathan to up his goal as he builds more confidence from 5 or 10 homes to maybe more than that, or maybe a lot more than that. I'm inviting you to start your journey of getting your own free game plan. Click the link below, get with me and my team. Let's explore possibilities. Jonathan's well on his way. He's got a good concept of his evolving game plan. And so aside from clicking the link and doing that, I've made another video for you that might be useful, which is kind of Jonathan's story. How did I house hack my way, starting with nothing, to $1 million? Click right here, watch this video, let me show you.